It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and other comics from all over. We ended up in Japan because we had already solved all of our problems in our home countries and are now here to help you solve yours. Lucky you. The Talk Funny podcast from NagoyaRadio.com and Nagoya Comedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
Here's Mark Bailey.
Mark Bailey and Steve Howard back on Talk Funny. We're doing some meta comedy talk. One of the things you need to learn as a comedian, I'd like to ask you how you evolved. You have to read the room when you're on stage. We've had bad crowds. We had a November crowd at GC Live. They were all drunk after a marathon or something.
Yeah.
Horse race or whatever it was. And it was a horrible show for everybody.
Yeah.
And you guys were suicidal at the end. And afterwards I said, what Bob Saget told me is every show is different.
Yeah.
100 reasons people are not listening to you or laughing. Next show would be better. And you could tell the same jokes at another venue, at another show, on another day. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So what's your evolution with that?
Well, for reading the room, I'm actually pretty bad at it still. But one thing you told me, like, if you have a set that's not going well, then if you get a big laugh, go ahead and end your set there. You don't have to, suffer through. If you've got 15 minutes and at 12 minutes you get a big laugh, but your set hasn't been going well, don't just say, thanks a lot, and then get off stage. There's no reason to force yourself through all your material if it's obviously not going right. Like you said, sometimes you just don't get the audience that connects with your stuff. So just end on a big laugh and then get off stage.
Yeah, end on a win. There's Bob Saget. He said, you don't have to torture yourself. They're just making fun of you and stuff. He goes, your funniest bit? And use that and stare him in the eyes. And say, I know that's funny.
Yeah.
And walk off, right? And it's not your problem. It's that I was paranoid, so I have all these pads that I'm putting up all over. And unfortunately, I'm the MC, so when you decided to finish, I wasn't finished putting up all the pads and everything. But it's not your fault. That's my coordination. But no, it wasn't a problem because Mike can just play music or something. I don't have to come back and go on when you finish your set. But it's the best thing. I learned it in the 80s, but used it. The first time we ever had Coat of Arms, a show, was folk music. They were the headliners.
Classic show.
People. And Miles.
We love Miles.
We love you, Miles. But he was used to drinking 5% chew highs. And I said, I'll buy you two. He said, would you buy me one? I said, I'll buy you two. And I bought him 9%, which is what I drink. It's like doing heroin, giving 2 vials, 2 giant vials. So I didn't know that he only drank the 5%. So he drank 2 of those. You got to hurry up with the chew high. We hurried up with the chew high because we're 10 minutes late. And we waltzed in and we got the chew high just hit us on stage.
Geez.
The alcohol hit us. And Victor was there. And it just hit us. And so Miles ended up insulting the host that invited us and blah, blah. Then I got on. They kicked Miles off. So I said, well, I guess I'm going on now. They already hated us, so they were talking to the set. So I'm like, hey, is there a mob hit going on in the back or what? Hey, will you listen to me? There's a spotlight on me. There's a microphone. What else do I need? A dildo up everybody's butt? And then they're like, boo, boo, boo. So Tom Fallon, who invited us, he goes, man, just get off. And I said, I can't leave like this. I can't leave with booze. And I said, I got a joke. Tell him shut up. I promise.
I came with booze, but I'm not leaving with booze.
I promise you like this. I said, everybody, SF up! SF up! And I gave the mic to Tom, and he goes, everybody, just let him finish. Like, boo, boo, get off the stage. So I said, okay, listen, would you treat your mom like this? Pretend I'm like your mom, all right? So I did a joke, and I said, I can't promise you'll laugh, but I promise it's not a bad joke. I have to leave on some shred of dignity. So my joke was, I did this at GC as well. What's the difference between silence and Alzheimer's? So I was silent. People were like, is he okay? There's no difference. Thank you. Good night. I'm Mark Bailey. You loved us. You loved us. So I ended on that, and they clapped. And I was like, oh, he is funny. It's like, you could be drunk and funny. Ask Ron White.
Yeah.
So, yeah, reading the room.
Well, you can be on heroin and funny. Ask Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah. Reading the room, Mike and I kind of beat this to death in an episode, but one of our shows where a guy came on with a guitar and he didn't read the room, which is full of semi-beautiful 30-ish women, which we are very lucky to have.
Yeah.
We rarely have them. And then his idea was to do, are you fat or are you pregnant? Not just a joke. That's 3 seconds. And that would have been fine. You would have gotten over it and then do your material. But he did the song. 3 minutes, and he redid it, and he redid it, and he redid it, and then he did his routine. By the time you got up, there was nobody left. There was one guy.
Yeah. Another classic, one of our classic shows.
You have to read the room, though.
Yeah.
You have to see, because Mike and I and you can hear it. They're packing their bags. I can hear this. I can see when women are packing their bags.
Yeah.
I can see when they're talking, where they're getting their coats and stuff.
Yeah.
So I try to bring them back in, and do crowd work.
Yeah. Well, you, Mike, and Joe Magic, and maybe even Tim to a certain extent, I feel like are far better at it than I am, because I usually come with all my material kind of semi-memorized. I mean, I always have my notes and stuff in my pocket somewhere, but so my big fear, my big panic is if I get heckled or if somebody shouts out something and interrupts my set, I'm always panicking. Am I going to be able to get back to my set? But all of you guys are really good. You can respond to the audience or even do crowd work, which is something I haven't really learned how to do at all yet. So.
Well, you've got for comics, you have to have a little toolkit of filler comebacks, and I'll say something like, that joke was funny when I wrote it, but apparently not tonight.
Yeah.
And but you've got one I like, which is, I spent an hour on that joke, but nothing? Seriously? I like that. Oh, because it puts it back in the audience.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I've done it yet, but my other one I was going to do was, that joke was really funny when I told it to myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
All the voices in my head were laughing at it.
We wouldn't say his name, but one of our recent shows had a headliner and a feature guy. And the feature guy got thrown off by some guy invited some
I have no idea who that is.
But he threw him off.
Yeah.
And he did have one comeback, which I liked. He said, "Oh, did I throw you off with the heckles?" He goes, "No, I'm just trying to get through my set and everything, because it's my job."
Yeah. I haven't known that guy for over 40 years.
Here's another thing I thought about, which is funny, is it reminds me now in Tokyo how much the comics rely on crowd work.
Yeah, yeah.
Chris, the MC, who's back in England now, he's not going to listen to this.
Yeah.
He went into my set time by just doing crowd work.
Wow.
And, that's kind of become the chicken McNuggets
yeah.
food. I mean, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
And both of those guys did that. I was thinking, what if we had all done that?
Yeah.
What was it? With 22 people?
Yeah. Yeah.
All of us had done, if all of us had done crowd work, they have no set.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Now you have to have material MFer.
Yeah.
Come on, you're the headliner.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point. Huh.
I mean, crowd work is, once you get used to it, it's easy.
Yeah.
Because the other person doesn't say anything, and you make fun of that, or you make fun of their answer.
Yeah.
But it's a fine line, because you don't want somebody to walk out,
Right.
Russell Peters, he does that. Yeah, he does all crowd work from different countries. There's another guy, and his name was Todd Barry. He did on Netflix, just pure crowd work.
Really? Wow.
And it's excruciating. He had one where he said, "Hello, sir," in the black jacket. The guy goes, "Me?" And he goes, "No, all the other guys in black jackets sitting in the back." Yeah. He goes, "What do you want?" He goes, "What are you drinking, sir?" He goes, "I'm drinking a drink." He goes, "I kind of anticipated you would say that." And that's, he talks about that. And what exactly are you drinking, sir? The whole world wants to know, because he has no material, no? And he said, whiskey sour. And he goes, "Which is it really? Is it more sour or more whiskey?" He goes, "It's more sour." And he goes, "Yeah, I kind of thought you might say that. I thought you might want more whiskey, but it looks like you've had too much whiskey." And the guy goes, "Looks like you don't have a set." And he goes, "Well, okay, touche, sir. So why did you come here tonight?" He goes, "I came here for comedy." And he goes, "You came here on the wrong night." And the guy goes, "Damn right I did." He goes, "Okay, enough of the crowd work. It's not going so well." So you got a microphone and you can just you're heckling the crowd.
Yeah.
That gets old.
Yeah.
If you get heckled, I mean, my style is if I get heckled, now I'm going to call the guy out.
Right.
Now we're going to. Now you think you're better? Yeah, well, let's do it, right?
Yeah.
But I did that in the 80s and almost got whacked. It was same with the bowl. So that's another thing. In the 80s, I didn't read the room. They're all guys in Gucci suits and packing heat. They're all holding their left breast pocket with their right hand.
Yeah.
Like, not funny. Oh, not funny, Goomba. All right, it's okay, Tony. Tony, it's okay. Sammy. He knows what he said. Funny how? Not funny how?
Yeah. Read the caliber of the room and the caliber of the gun.
That's what Larry David was good at. He would read the room before he went on. And he'd see a bunch of bikers and a bunch of Guidos that had just seen Rocky 4. And he'd go, no, not tonight. And the bartender's like, that's a fine. You're getting a fine of $100. Take it out of my bill. But you don't drink. He's like, that's a fine of $100. He goes, here's $200 if I never see these Guidos again.
It's cheaper than a funeral.
It's Mark Bailey and Steve Howard on Talk Funny.